Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. Welcome to a little bit of a game guide. Now I haven't done one of these for a few months or a while certainly, but I am aware that a lot of people are put off by games like this, and this is a guide for 2 Point Campus because they think they're quite complex or difficult to learn and pick up, and I wanted to do like a really basic guide for anyone playing a game like this for the first time. Now this is the sandbox mode of 2 Point Campus, which you can unlock eventually by playing the main game. Once you get to like 1-star status on a number of campuses, it will unlock the sandbox mode. But the tips that I'm going to give you can be used in the main game as well. But like I say, this is just the sandbox mode. It makes it a little bit easier to do a guide in the sandbox mode. So this is one of the random maps. It doesn't necessarily matter which map you choose if you're doing the sandbox mode. But like I say, it doesn't matter. You can use these tips as well in the main game. Now, one of the first things you're going to need to do when you go into one of these campuses, because they're all themed differently, is essentially have a look through. The first thing you're going to need is a lecture theatre. Okay. Now, a lecture theatre essentially is where the students will go to be, obviously, lectured by the teacher. And give them the information that they need for the course before they actually go and do the practical side of it. So this is where the theory, if you like. They go and get all the fluff from the teacher before they go and do the practical stuff. So essentially, each time you set up a new course, it's a good idea to get another lecture theatre built, because the more lecture theatres you've got, the more you can prime your students to learn. So as you can see there, we've already got a gastronomy class set up. Now, a gastronomy class is like a cookery class. So we have got now a lecture theatre to go along with that. Something else you're going to need fairly quickly when your students start arriving on campus, certainly, is a dormitory. Okay, somewhere for your students to basically sleep. Fairly easy to set up, not overly expensive. And you need to be mindful of your finances any map that you go into. Now, on the sandbox mode, you can do a creative mode where finances aren't an issue, but this isn't one of them. You have to be mindful of your finances most of the time. So get a few beds down. Obviously, you can make the rooms however you want, be as creative as you want. I'm trying to be fairly practical here. So yeah, just get it out. Now, it is important how the room looks, because it will increase like the attractiveness of the room and the level of the room. The higher the level, the happier the people are that access that room. The happier the people that access any of the rooms, the better they will learn, and it'll just make things a lot easier. Because if you've got unhappy students, they'll basically drop out or even refuse to pay their fees. So it is in your best interest, essentially, to try and make the room as attractive as possible. You will learn things called kudos throughout the game, and you can unlock different items with the kudos, which is what you see me do there, to make the room look a little bit more attractive. There you go. And you can always go back to a room afterwards if you need to level it up. Once you've finished the room and you're happy with it, you click triangle and the room essentially then is open. So we've built a lecture theatre and we've built a dormitory. So we're well on the way. Now, before you start the academic year, you need to choose what course you're going to do. Now, initially, certainly in sandbox mode, you only really have one course running at a time. Certainly for the first year, and then at the next academic year you can increase it to 2 courses. Okay, so we've got the gastronomy course going. We're going to add gastronomy to the courses. We've got that. Increase it to level 2. Just means that it's better status and you can charge a bit more, sort of thing. And we're ready to go. We can basically now, we need to hire a gastronomy teacher, because if you have no teacher, you can't teach the class. So you hire the teacher. We've got everything in place to start the academic year. Start the year, and away we go. So the students will start arriving on campus, and then we can start earning the cash. Each time you make improvements to your campus will level up. as you can see, the students are now arriving on campus. So what you're going to need now, because they do have needs, you're going to need a bathroom. These don't need to be huge. Get yourself your door in there, wherever you want. And then you've got like toilet cubicles. Sinks. There we go. I would suggest putting a bin in any room, because otherwise they'll just chuck the litter everywhere. So scatter as many bins around as you can. Hand dryers. And hand gel dispensers. Again, I would put one of those in most rooms. It'll help with the students' hygiene. So you've got a bathroom there. So they've got somewhere to go when they need the toilet. As you can see here in the lecture theatre, they're getting the theory side of the course. Once they've finished that, they'll move over to the main course, the practice side of it, in the gastronomy kitchen area. You can see them levelling up there. It's the only way they'll level up is by going in a lecture theatre and going into the gastronomy course. So what else you're going to need as well is to help with their personal hygiene and keep the students happy, is have a shower room as well.
Tasking is great. I don't know what I'd do without it. Sometimes I'm there writing an essay while listening to a recorded lecture and covering an event.
There we go.
Radio, and it just dawns on me, if
More sinks.
so great, this would all be a bit much. Thanks, multitasking.
And towel racks.
To have the time of their lives.
That's half the fun with the game, really. You could just design it however you want. I tried to go for the most simple and basic way of doing it. Quite practical. There we go. We've got bathrooms and shower rooms set up for the students. Straight in, using them. They're going to be happier for that now. They've got a room prestige of 4, the shower room. To increase the prestige, you just add more things to the room to make it more attractive. Same with any room, the prestige. You can add posters, you can add all sorts of things. There are some maps you'll have to manage the temperature of some rooms, either make them warmer or cooler. It will give you certain goals as well. It's telling you that you need a library. Now the library is important because it's a place that students go to improve their grades, basically. It's a place they'll go to, you know, as anybody would go to any library and improve their knowledge on a certain subject. So a library is certainly important for the students. They will come in and they will work and improve on their grades. So again, you can kind of do it however you want, really. Just add the desks, gives them space to come and work. And then there are certain things that you do need to complete a room, and there's like a star on it that'll tell you you need to include this into the room before you can build it. So that's very, very easy to find. Bookcases. Now the bookcases will increase their learning speed on a certain subject. There are some bookcases that are set for certain subjects. So you've got a gastronomy bookcase there that I'm going to unlock with some kudos, 100 kudos to unlock that. And you can see the kudos on the bottom right hand side. I've got 1,160 kudos left.
And no, the story of a
Okay, now you can see that there. I need an assistant. As it shows there in red, you need an assistant to run a library. So we'll go to the staff section, move it along, click right one to assistants. Now there's nobody here right now that specialises in the library. It doesn't matter. I could still hire the first aid specialist and put them in the library. It's just that they're not specialised to work in the library. So what you can do is you can fire someone and wait a few days to see if the next applicant that comes along is proficient in the library. If they're not, it doesn't matter. You can just put anybody in there, and then you can train them up later in a training room to make them skilled in libraries, so they don't have library skills. So just choose anyone really, pop them down, and they will then work in the library. Okay, the library's ready to go. You can see students already going in, and they will start reading the books and learning faster and improving their grades. You can see them there. He's reading the book. The bar's going up. Now I've put a janitor down there, proficient in security, because you will get invaded by other campuses. So you will need janitors with different skills. Keep checking your goals. You will get things like this. This student wants a love bench, so you can buy it and then place it down. You can ignore the goals generally if you want, but if you put it'll generally make the students happier if you do it. I'm just going to get rid of these things because you don't need them. There we go. Okay, so we've got the basics of the campus up and running here. As you can see, the library, they're all in there researching and upgrading their grades, making themselves smarter. You've got the lecturer in there preparing for the next class. I completed a challenge there, so I earned some kudos and some cash. You've always got to keep an eye on your cash flow in the game, which is why you shouldn't rush too many courses too quickly. Just kind of do it a little bit at a time and increase your cash flow on slower rather than just trying to do it too fast. So as you can see here, I'm trying to improve the room to increase its prestige. As you can see, as I'm adding things into the room, you can see the room prestige bar going up. Yeah. The more prestige the room has got, the more attractive it is to students, the happier they are being in there. Yeah. You just keep putting things down, increasing the prestige, and you can see the bar go up each time. So you will get goals, saying if you increase the prestige of a certain room, you'll get maybe some cash or kudos or something along them lines. Now, the next thing you should consider putting down is a private tuition room. Again, this will help focus the students. Any students that are struggling with their grades, they can come to the private tuition room, and it will help them increase their grades. Because some are better than others, which is, very much like real life. So again, it's only a small room.
Thanks for joining us on Campus Radio. If anyone from 2 Point Radio is listening,
And you can use your kudos to unlock certain other things.
graduate next year and will be available for paid or unpaid.
And unlock that.
Thanks.
Finish the room out. There you go. It's up and running. Now, as you can see there, if you click on it, I need a teacher. So the private tuition rooms need teachers as well. So we'll hire another teacher, pop them in there, and they will do the private. Now, they don't just stay in there. They can go and teach the gastronomy class as well. But generally speaking, as long as you've got enough teachers on staff, there will always be someone available to go into the private tuition room. You also, pastoral support is a good idea. Now, essentially, this is any students that are struggling they can come in here and basically get, you know, a cuddle. It's like a one-to-one with somebody who will help them through their difficult times. But again, you need to be focused on trying to get the best out of your students, because that's how you're going to get the most money for the campus. The more students that are passing the course, the more money you're going to make, the happier they are, so on and so forth. So private tuition is a good idea, and pastoral support is a good idea. And again, as you can see there, that needs an assistant. So you go to the staff screen, write one, and as you can see there is one that is skilled in pastoral care. So we hire them, pop them in the room, and they will be staffed in there to support the students. See, we're very caring and sharing here on this campus. So it's starting to take shape now, is this campus. They've got a dormitory, they've got pastoral support, they've got private tuition rooms, bathrooms, toilets. So we are set up really here. So keep checking your goals. I mean, essentially the top right hand side there will essentially tell you what you need to do to get you 1 star. It's fairly simple stuff, generally speaking, and you will get goals. So if you click the left button on like your D-pad, that kind of takes you to your goals. You'll get like emails giving you some goals or giving you some information, so keep checking them as well. Now the students are going to want something to eat and drink while they're on site, obviously, so there's lots of vending machines for you to buy. So I'm buying these with some kudos, unlocking them should I say, and then buying them. So get some vending machines down and out for them. Where you put them is completely up to you, but you're trying to maximize the space as much as possible, trying to cram as much as you can into the campus.
Frequently asked questions. No.
So we'll get some more down. There are kiosks as well that you can unlock and put down, but they need staffing, so I wouldn't suggest you put them down early on in a build, because essentially the main thing that's going to cost you in regards to profits early on in these games is the staff wages. So you don't want to employ too many staff too quickly. So don't put any of the kiosks down, like the hot dog stands and coffee stands, because you've got to staff them up with people. So the less staff, the better early on in the build. So just put the bare minimum of staff down, basically, early on is what I'm saying. A couple of janitors, put the assistants in that you need, and the teachers that you need, no more. Otherwise, you're going to start losing money fairly quickly. So you've got to keep your students entertained, put arcade machines down, give them a telephone, and kiosk and vending machines for them to, and you'll make money off the vending machines as well. It's not a great deal. So they're checking the goals again. As you can see, the staff wages there briefly, that is what will kill you early on. So you want to be making profit, which might sound completely obvious, but you can get carried away in this game and start putting loads of rooms down and loads of things down, and then putting loads of classes on and then staffing them up, and then before you know it, you've just no money left. So it's like, do it slowly. As you can see, everyone's leveling up. The more they level up, the more money you're going to make. So they're doing the gastronomy course there. Pretty cool. I mean, all the classes have got these really fun animations going on that you do. It is really, really good. Right, so once you get to the end of your academic year, you can kind of see how you've done. Click the down button on the D-pad. It'll show you your results for your year. Not too bad a pass rate there. Nobody's failed. Nobody's dropped out. Nobody's been expelled. So I've done pretty well. Not done too badly at all in the first year. And then what you do then is you manage your courses before you start the next academic year. Okay, we've got the gastronomy one. Let's add another course. So there's all these to choose from. I mean, there's some really, really cool ones. Some of them are better suited on some maps, like, you know, some of the sports ones need like big fields and things like that. Right, so they're better suited to like the countryside ones rather than the urban ones, but you can still do pretty much all of them on any map, really. So I think we should do, probably we'll do scientography. Yeah. We'll add that. We'll increase that to level 2 as well. Yeah. That's it. Click that, confirm.
Janitor needed
And it shows you there on the right hand side what you need to do before you start your next academic year. Now, you can start it right now, and you'll be given like a certain amount of time to do all these things. So we're going to need a new lecture theatre. We're going to need to build another savoury kitchen, a science lab, and a sweet kitchen. So let's build another lecture theatre. Basically tick off everything it's asking us to do.
to relax.
Remember what I said, the more lecture theatres you've got, the more chance you've got of getting like your classes up and running faster. The more classes you run, the more money you make. So that's why you need lecture theatres. So we've got a lecture theatre. We don't have to go into too much detail with it. Let's just get that up and running. Okay, that's the second lecture theatre. That's ready to go. We've got some more space to build here. So we shall build on one of the classrooms. So let's have a look. Which one shall we build? Right, we shall build, let's have a look. The sweet kitchen. So this is still part of the gastronomy course. We've got a savoury kitchen already. And now it's asking for a sweet kitchen. There we go. Let's get some of these gadgets in there. Now you don't need all of these gadgets, but it will, like I say, it'll improve the prestige of the room, which is always a good thing. The more prestige a room has got, overall, it just means the students will be happier being in there. Nice and easy to set up. Remember, a bin's always useful in every single room, otherwise litter gets scattered everywhere. And the janitors will empty the bins. There we go. Makes sense to have one of them in a kitchen. So that is the sweet kitchen up and running. And right next to it, we shall do another one of the rooms. We shall do, let's have a look, another savoury kitchen. Makes sense to have them right next to each other. There we go. Put the door in place. So this is basically, it's the other kitchen we've got in the other building. So there's two of these now, so we can run two of the savoury classes at the same time, which is more money for the campus. Again, all this stuff is important for the prestige. If you don't have a lot of money, remember you don't need to put all of these things down. It's only the things that have got like a gold like star in the box. That means you have to have them in the room. But because this is on sandbox mode, you start these modes pretty much with a decent amount of money. So, you know, I'm doing pretty well for money. As you can see at the bottom there, I've got over 200,000. So that's that one. You can see now we need to build another science lab. But as you can see, we've not a lot of space left. So you click on one of these sites, you click with buildings or without. I like to do it with buildings because it makes it a bit easier. And as you can see there, once it's sped up, it's doesn't take long to build either. There we go. The more of these plots you buy, they get more expensive each time. So, you know, just be careful when you do it, because again, you always need to keep an eye on your finances. Right, so now we need to build the science lab. Oh, hang on, it's not finished building yet. One sec. There we go, it's done now, I think. There we are. Right, so let's build the science lab. There we go. And normally when it turns blue for the first time, that tells you that's the dimensions you need for the room. It's up to you if you want to leave it like that or make it a slightly bigger. Sometimes if you make it bigger, it means you can put more things in the room to make it higher in prestige. The smaller the room is, it's harder to pack things in it to increase the prestige. So I always like to make them slightly bigger sometimes than I need to, some rooms anyway. But it's completely up to you how you design your rooms. So there we go, that is the science lab pretty much up and running. Now we need to just hire some more teachers. We need one more gastronomy teacher and we need 2 scientography teachers. So let's go to the staff. Oops, missed that. There we go. Staff members there. So that's one right. Those are the gastronomies. So we'll hire that one. So we've got 3 gastronomy teachers now. And we need 2 scientography teachers. So let's get one over here. One. There we go. And basically why you need 2 is you've got 1 to run the lecture theatre and 1 to run the class. If you've just got 1 of them, then it's going to take longer because they'll have to run over to the lecture theatre and then run over to run the class. So there we go. We've got 2 classes ready to run for the second year. And that is my advice, is you just kind of run 1 class at a time. Each year just add another 1 to it so that you're growing slowly. So you can see there we've got, you know, pretty busy campus now. It's all happening. Right, so because we have like 3 classes, it probably makes sense to put another lecture theatre down. Okay, we've got the 2 gastronomy classes and we've got the new scientography class. So therefore, to put a 3rd lecture theatre makes sense, I would say. It'll get them through the classes quicker. If you don't have the finances to put it down, don't worry about it. It's not going to matter too much. But if you do, it will smooth things up a little bit better, make things run a bit smoother, what I mean to say. So we've got 3 lecture theatres now to go with the 3 classes. That'll speed things up really, really nicely. Something else that you should be considering putting down at this point now will be a staff room for your staff members, somewhere for the staff to go and relax in between classes. It doesn't need to be a particularly big room, this one that I've found. Just put a few sofas down for them to come and chill out, sit down, get away from the rabble. Get a bookcase in there.
Announcement. Intruders on campus. Oh no.
Nice lamp. A table. And whatever you want, basically. There's all sorts of different options here. And that shaking you can see there, that's like a natural disaster, which you will get on different maps. This one looks like it's an earthquake, which doesn't really affect things too badly. And the janitors will clean it up. As you can see at the bottom there, I'm being invaded. So as a result of us being invaded, I'm going to probably makes sense to hire another janitor proficient in security. There we go. And don't worry about it. You can train up all your staff members later on to be proficient in a few different areas once you get a training room down. But don't worry about your training room early on. Your focus early on should be making money. So there we go. We've got 3 lecture theatres. Let's have a look at some of the goals. Invasion report. Yeah. You will have events sometimes that they'll ask you to do, like booking like a movie in the lecture theatres to keep the students happy. There'll be other events. Now they're wanting a student lounge party, but I don't have a student lounge. So that's the next thing to fix. We've got a staff lounge, so it would make sense to put a student lounge down as well. Now you can also build a student union, which is a good idea, because the student union, you can put like a big stage in there and have like DJs and all kinds of things, but do your lounge first. Now generally I will do my student lounges normally a bit bigger than this, because you can put more things in a student lounge. And generally speaking, you've got more students on site than teachers, but this is just kind of me showing you what a student lounge looks like. You can put, sinks, microwaves and fridges in the student lounge for them to cook their own meals and all this kind of stuff. And all sorts of different forms of entertainment you could put in a student lounge. But like I say, generally speaking, it would make sense to kind of do a student lounge a little bit bigger than how I'm doing this one, but you get the general idea. Get a bin down, because they will chuck their rubbish everywhere. And obviously one of these, increase the hygiene. There we go. So we've got a staff lounge, we've got a student lounge now going on in the campus. Let's have a look at the goals. Now we can do the student lounge party as they've requested, because we've got a student lounge. They cost money, the events, but it does keep the campus a little bit happier, which is something you're always wanting to do. There you go, you can see them enjoying the student lounge straight away. If you click right on the D-pad, that'll take you to the career hub, and any of these circles that are fully golded out like that, that means you've achieved that goal and you can get some more kudos. And as I've mentioned, the kudos is what you need to unlock more items in the menu. Some of them are quite expensive to buy, so the more kudos you've got, the better. So it is an important aspect of the game. Right, what else can we look at? So we've got all these things here that you can build in these places. Now we've gone through a lot of them. I've talked you through why they're important. It's up to you, generally speaking, what order you put them in. You're going to need a medical office at some point, but it's not as important right now. It's more important mainly for like some of the more physical ones, like the wizardry or the athletics classes and things like that. The training room's important. That'll train up your staff. The research lab is, well, it speaks for itself. It researches new things. The marketing office will bring in more students. And then we've got all the classes down here. Science lab, computer lab, VR lab, sweet kitchen, savoury kitchen, robots, jousting fields, gyms, cheeseball fields. But there's no point building these if you don't add them to the curriculum, which you will do at the end of each academic year. So I hope you found this basic guide useful, guys, and I hope it giving you a little bit more confidence to maybe play this game if you were put off by it thinking it's particularly complicated. I hope you found this guide useful. Thank you very much for watching.